Okay, all of you write down. Today we'll discuss this uh, guided transmission media. Okay, which is the next section of your chapter number 2. So all of you write down guided transmission media.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning. So write down. This is the second part of your chapter number 2, guided transmission media. Write down guided transmission media, guided transmission media. Okay, so basically the transmission media are roughly grouped into two types. Number one, write down guided media, and number two is your unguided media. Right, media are roughly grouped into guided media, and number two is your unguided media. Okay, and the example of your guided media is such as your copper wire and fiber optics, and unguided media such as your radio and laser, that is your air. You can say the transmission of your radio waves or laser wave through the air. Okay, so simply remember this transmission media are grouped into two types. Number one is your guided media, number two is your unguided media, and we will discuss in detail about this guided media and unguided media. Okay, and if you consider these various physical medias can be used for actual transmission. Okay, so one has every transmission media has its own position in terms of your, you can say, bandwidth, delay, cost, and your in terms of your installation and maintenance. Okay, installation and maintenance. Okay, and if you compare, so depending upon your requirement, so you can choose the bandwidth or what is the delay associated with each transmission media, and what is the cost, and what is the installation. Okay, and whether it is easy to install or difficult to install, and the maintenance. Okay, and maintenance. Okay, so these are the factors one has to consider. Okay, depending upon the application. Okay, for the use of your different transmission media. Okay, simply write down in your copy this media are roughly grouped into guided media, and number two is your unguided media. And the best example of your guided media is your copper wire and fiber optics. Okay, and unguided media, that is your air, free space. Okay, so and in free space, this is your unguided media as your radio waves or laser waves transmitted from your one point to another point. Okay, without the help of any guided media like your wire. Okay, so and this is your unguided media. Okay, then we'll discuss in detail about your different types of your guided transmission media. Okay, guided transmission media. Okay, so in this guided transmission media, we'll discuss four types of your guided transmission media. Number one is your write-down magnetic media. Number two is your twisted pair. Number three is your coaxial cable, and number four is your fiber optics. Okay, so guided transmission, under guided transmission media, we'll discuss in details about your magnetic media, twisted pair, okay, coaxial cable, and fiber optics. Okay, twisted pair, coaxial cable, and fiber optics. So all of you write down in a copy. So media are roughly grouped into guided media and unguided media. And under guided transmission media, it are four different types we will discuss. Number one is your magnetic media. Number two is your twisted pair. Number three is your coaxial cable. Number four is your fiber optics. Okay, so we'll discuss one by one. The first one is your magnetic media. Okay, so this is a type of your guided transmission media, one type of your guided transmission media, you can say. So one of the most common way to transport data, okay, from one computer to another is to write them onto magnetic tape or removable media, that is your recordable DVDs. Okay, and physically transport the tape or disk, okay, to the destination machine, and read them back in again. Okay, and read them back in again. Okay, so this is the magnetic media. Simply you have to whatever the data you want to transmit, okay, from the transmitter to the receiver, okay, or from the transmitting end to the receiving end. simply you have to write all the data in a magnetic tape, or you can say that is your DVD or CD, okay, and you have to physically transport, okay, that DVD or magnetic tape, okay, from one location to another, or from the source to destination, okay, right. So that is the type of your, this is also considered as a type of your magnetic media, because you are writing everything in the form of your removable disk, okay, or you can say magnetic tape, and physically transport the tape or disk to the destination machine and read them back in again, okay. So although this method is not as sophisticated as using your geosynchronous communication satellite, okay, so as you are using nowadays, that is your wireless communication type, or the most of the communication now you are using in the form of your unguided media, okay. So though it is not sophisticated as using your geosynchronous communication satellite, so it is often more cost effective, okay. It is more, simply write down what is the advantage of your magnetic media, that is it is cost effective, especially for applications. It is cost effective. What is the advantage? That is, it is cost effective, especially for applications, especially for applications high bandwidth in which high bandwidth or cost per bit transported, or cost per bit transported is the key factor, especially for applications in which high bandwidth or cost per bit transported, or cost per bit transported is the key factor, okay. So far as your high bandwidth, or you can say high data rate, okay, high data rate, as the bandwidth is directly related to your data rate, okay. If the bandwidth is more, okay, so your data rate is also more, okay. So if you need, okay, more data rate, okay, with less cost, okay, so with less cost, so this magnetic media is the suitable choice, okay. Magnetic media is the suitable choice. So how will calculate this data rate in case of your magnetic media, okay. Suppose one disk, okay, one disk, suppose had disks or like this, it consists of suppose 1 TB, okay. It is consist of suppose the memory capacity suppose is equal to 1 TB. That means you can save, okay, or you can store 1 TB data in that disk, okay. And if the transportation time, if the transportation time from your transmitting end to the receiving end, transmitting end to the receiving end, suppose 1 minute, okay, 1 minute, then what is the data rate? That is 1 TB divided by 1 minute, that is equal to 60 second, okay. So you can say, so 1 TB or 1 by 60 TB per second, okay, right, okay. So this is the way how to find out what is the data rate in case of your magnetic media, okay. So magnetic media, what is the capacity of the disk or your removable disk or magnetic tape, and what is the transportation time, okay, and what is the transportation time, okay. So you can calculate what is the data rate. So if you calculate, so using magnetic media you can achieve very high data rate, which is not sometimes possible in case of your any wire, that is your coaxial cable, or using your fiber optics. It is not physically possible, okay, but which is possible in case of your magnetic media, okay. Simply write down, so this magnetic media is your cost effective, more cost effective, especially for applications in which high bandwidth, or you can say high data rate, okay, it's essential, and cost per bit transported is the cost is the key factor, and cost per bit transported is the key factor, okay. So magnetic media, but what is the disadvantage? Although the bandwidth what is the disadvantage? So if you consider the first point, so we describe what is the disadvantage associated with your magnetic media. Although the bandwidth characteristics, although the bandwidth characteristics of magnetic tape are excellent, okay, the delay characteristics are poor, okay, the delay characteristics are poor. That is transmission time, okay, is measured in minutes or hour, okay, not millisecond. So whenever you transmit, okay, suppose in the same office, okay, so whenever you are transmitting your that tape, or you can say your disk from one location to another location. Okay, so if you consider the minimum time is around 1 minute. Okay, so minimum time. Okay, so if you want to transmit the same disk, okay, or your same tape, so suppose 20 kilometers or 30 kilometers. Okay, so the delay, okay, is around 1 hour. Okay, so hour. But in terms of your, if you consider any wired connection, okay, or your wireless connection, okay, always this time factor in terms of your millisecond, okay, in terms of your millisecond. So as you know, so data can be moved, okay, from one location to another location, okay, at the around light velocity. Okay, so you can transmit the data. In case of your perfect medium, you can transmit in terms of your light velocity. Okay, so right, but if you want to physically transport your magnetic media from one location to another location, so always the time in terms of your either minute or in terms of your hour, okay, not millisecond. Okay, so that is the disadvantage associated with your magnetic media. Okay, and another one is your, for many application, for many application, an online connection is needed. Okay, online connection is needed. Okay, so for many applications, suppose it is not physically possible, okay, to travel, okay, or physically transmit the data from one location to another location, okay, by transportation. Okay, so for many application, an online connection is also needed. An online connection is needed. Okay, so to access the data immediately, okay, to access the data immediately. Okay, so right, so for many application, an online connection is needed. Okay, and which is not physically possible in case of your magnetic media. Okay, that's why some other form of your transmission media comes into picture. Okay, so one of the oldest and still most common transmitted media, so write down one of the oldest and still most common transmission media is your twisted pair. Okay, so this is one of the media, simply write down, that is your one type of your guided media. Okay, that is your twisted pair. One of the oldest and still most common transmission media is your twisted pair. Okay, so what is your twisted pair? Simply write down a twisted pair. So write down a twisted pair consists of, a twisted pair consists of two insulated copper wires. A twisted pair consists of two insulated two insulated copper wires. A twisted pair consists of two insulated copper wires, typically about 1 millimeter thick. Consist of two insulated copper wires, typically about 1 millimeter thick. The wires are twisted together. The wires are twisted together in a helical form. Okay, the wires are twisted. The wires are twisted together in a helical form, just like a DNA molecule. Okay, just like a DNA molecule. Simply write down, a twisted pair consists of two insulated copper wires, typically about 1 millimeter thick. Typically about 1 millimeter thick. Typically about 1 millimeter thick. The wires are twisted together. The wires are twisted together in a helical form. Twisted together in a helical form. So you can check so you can check from the diagram. So this diagram basically represents your twisted pair. Okay, this diagram represents your twisted pair, and these are different types of your twisted pair. That is a UTP. UTP stands for your unshielded twisted pair. So we'll discuss in detail. Okay, so a twisted pair consists of two insulated copper wires, typically about 1 millimeter thick. The wires are twisted together in a helical form. Okay. So the next question, why basically the twisting is done? Okay, the twisting is done because two parallel wires. Okay, so the twisting is done. Simply write down. This is one of the important reason. Okay, why twisting is done? Okay, simply write down. Twisting is done because two parallel wires. Twisting is done because two parallel wires constitute a fine antenna. Twisting is done because two parallel wires constitute a fine antenna. So when the wires are twisted, okay, when the wires are twisted, the waves from different twist, the waves from different twist cancel out. The waves from different twist cancel out. So the wire radiates. So the wire radiates less effectively. So the wire radiates less effectively. So the wires, so the wire radiates less effectively. Okay. So to avoid interference, or you can say, so every radio waves or electromagnetic waves, okay, have interference with any other electromagnetic waves, okay, coming from your another twisted pair, okay, coming from your another twisted pair, or you can say cable, okay. So if you can minimize that radiation, okay, due to this antenna effect, okay, so we can minimize the interference, okay, we can minimize the interference with your another surrounding or neighborhood wire or coaxial cable or like this, okay. Also if the radiation is also less, okay, the health hazard associated with this twisted pair also less, okay, the health hazard associated with this twisted pair is also less, okay. Simply remember, this twisting is done, okay, to reduce, okay, to reduce or to cancel out the radiations, okay, to cancel out the radiations, okay, due to this antenna effect, okay, simply to minimize the radiations from this twisted pair. Okay, so if there is no twisting, simply two wires uh, are in parallel. Okay, two wires suppose in simply in parallel. Okay, so if twisting is not done, okay, so what is the problem? Okay, so it due to this radiation, due to this antenna effect of this parallel line, okay, so it creates some sort of your electromagnetic radiations which may interfere, okay, which may interfere with your another communication line, okay, or you can say this radiation may have some sort of your health hazards like this, okay. So to reduce this radiation, okay, basically this twisting is done, okay. Simply this is very important. Next is your so these are the two example of your uh, twisted pair, okay. So we'll discuss in detail. And the most common application, okay, the most common application of the twisted pair is the telephone system. The most common application of the twisted pair is the telephone system, okay. So if you have check your baseline telephone, okay, so from your BSNL or like this, okay, so they are using this twisted pair, okay, to keep the connection. So nearly all telephones are connected to the telephone company office by a twisted pair, okay. So nearly all telephones are connected to the telephone company office by a twisted pair. So twisted pair can run several kilometers without amplification. Okay, the twisted pair can run several kilometers without amplification, but for longer distances, repeaters are needed. Okay, so if the communication, okay, for your longer distance, generally the distortion or the attenuation takes place. Okay, attenuation of the signal takes place. Okay, to amplify this loss of your signal, basically the repeaters are needed, okay. The objective of your repeater is to amplify, okay, to amplify your original signal so that it can easily reach at the destination, okay. So twisted pair can run several kilometers without amplification, but for longer distances repeaters are needed, okay. So when many twisted pair are run in parallel for a substantial distance, such as all the wires coming from an apartment building to the telephone company office, so they are bundled together, okay, bundled together and encased in a protective sheath, okay, for your security purpose or for your to loss of the damage, okay. So It is encased in a protective sheath. Okay. So the pairs in these bundles will interfere with one another if it were not for the twisting. Okay, so just we have discussed. Suppose there are more than one twisting pair in a encased protective sheath. Okay, so if they are not twisted properly, so interference takes place. Okay, so if they are twisted, okay, so the interference is less. Okay, so the interference due to this electromagnetic wave becomes less. Okay, so next important point is simply write down twisted pair can be used. Twisted pair can be used for transmitting either analog or digital signal. Twisted pairs can be used for transmitting either analog or digital signals. Transmitted either analog or digital signals. Either analog or digital signals. The bandwidth of your twisted pair depends on the bandwidth of this twisted pair. Bandwidth means up to how what frequency it can pass the signal without any deterioration. Okay, so these are your bandwidth is also already we have discussed in the last class. So the bandwidth of this twisted pair depends on the thickness of the wire and the distance traveled. Okay, the bandwidth depends on the thickness of the wire and the distance travel, but several megabits per second can be achieved. But several megabits per second can be achieved for a few kilometers in many cases. Okay, so but several megabits per second can be achieved for a few kilometers in many cases. And if you compare due to their adequate performance and low cost, and twisted pairs are widely used. Okay, due to their adequate performance and low cost, the twisted pair are widely used. Okay, so now we will consider what are the different types of your this twisted pair. Okay, or category of your twisted pair. So twisted pair cabling comes in several varieties. Okay, two of which are important for your computer network. So simply write down. So the two of which are important for your computer network. Okay, so all of these wiring types are often referred to as your UTP, that is your unshielded twisted pair. Unshielded twisted pair. This UTP stands for your unshielded twisted pair. Unshielded, that means there is no shield or your protective cover. Okay, for your used for your twisted pair. Okay, so unshielded twisted pair. So there are two types normally used in your computer network. That is your category 3. So write down in your copy. So these unshielded twisted pairs that used in your computer network. Number one is your category 3 UTP and category 5 UTP. Okay, category 3 UTP. Number two is your category 5 UTP. Okay, so how they are different? So they are different in terms of your bandwidth. This is important. So category, the bandwidth of your category 3 UTP is your 16 megahertz. Simply write down this category 3 UTP has bandwidth 16 megahertz, and for your category 5 UTP as bandwidth 100 megahertz. So when you write in your copy, category 3 UTP has bandwidth 16 megahertz and category 5 UTP has bandwidth up to 100 megahertz. Okay, 100 megahertz. 100 megahertz. And if you consider what is the difference between your category 3 UTP and category 5 UTP, you can check. So in case of your category 5 UTP, the number of twist, okay, number of twist per centimeter is more. So if you compare, so what is the number of twist in your category 3 UTP for the same length? So in this case, the number of twist is equal to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. But in this case, it is approximately double. Okay, in case of your category 5 UTP, the number of twist per centimeter is approximately double. Okay, double. So if the number of twist is more, okay, that means the interference or your due to your electromagnetic is less. Okay, or the radiation due to your electromagnetic effect, okay, is less in case of your category 3 UTP. Okay, so that is the difference between your category 3 and category 5 UTP. So in category 5, it is normally used more number of twist. okay, as compared to your category 3 UTP. Okay, that's why the interference or your radiation due to your radiation effect is less. Okay, that's why its bandwidth is around 100 megahertz as compared to your category 3 UTP, which has bandwidth 16 megahertz. Okay, so category 3 twisted pair consists of two insulated wires gently twisted together. Okay, so this scheme allows up to four. Then next is your category 5 twisted pair. Simply write down they are similar to category 3 but with more twist per centimeter. Okay, this is the major difference between your category 3 and category 5. So it has more twist per centimeter. Okay, so as it consists of your more twist per centimeter in case of your category 5. Okay, so it which results less crosstalk. Okay, which results, okay, as it consists of more twist per centimeter. Okay, so this is the advantage of your category 5 UTP over category 3 UTP. So as it consists of more twists per centimeter, which results in less crosstalk, okay, and a better quality signal over longer distance and a better quality signal over longer distances and making them more suitable for high speed computer communication. Okay, they're more suitable for high speed computer communication. Okay, simply you remember what is the difference between your category 3 UTP and category 5 UTP. Both the category 3 UTP and category 5 UTP normally used for your suitable for your computer network, but category 3 UTP has bandwidth up to 16 megahertz, where category 5 UTP has bandwidth up to 100 megahertz, and category 5, okay, associated with your more twist per centimeter, which results in less crosstalk and a better quality signal over longer distance. Okay, so these are the similarity and difference between your category 3 UTP and category 5 UTP. As well as nowadays also categories 6 and 7, or category 6 and 7 also used, okay, for your computer networks. Okay, having a bandwidth. Okay, so if you consider the bandwidth, okay, the bandwidth of your category 6 UTP, simply write down the bandwidth of your category 6. So depending upon the application, okay, depending upon the application, so you have to choose, okay, which type of your UTP, or whether you have to use category 3 UTP, category 5, or category 6, or category 7. Okay, UTP has to be used. Okay, so but as the most of the computer networks, okay, comes under your this type of your bandwidth. Okay, that's why they mostly use, so far as your telephone line is concerned or everything, they are mostly use this type of either category 3 or category 5. Okay, so if you consider the bandwidth of your category 6, okay, category 6 UTP is, you can write the bandwidth of category 6 UTP is 250 megahertz. Category 6 is your 250 megahertz, whereas the bandwidth of your category 7 UTP is 600 megahertz. Category 7 is 600 megahertz. Okay, so finally you can say this twisted pairs, okay, comes on in several varieties. Okay, number one is your category 3 UTP, category 5 UTP, and which are mostly used, that is your category 5, 3 and category 5. Okay, also some other form, that is your category 7, 6 and 7. And if you compare the category 3 has bandwidth 16 megahertz, category 5 UTP has bandwidth 100 megahertz, whereas category 6 have bandwidth 250 megahertz and category 7 have 600 megahertz. Okay, right? So so these are different specification associated with your different twisted pair. Okay, twisted pair. So depending on the application, one has to choose. Okay, which type of which category UTP has to be used. Okay, so next type of your Guided transmission media is your coaxial cable. So write down in your copy. Next is your coaxial cable. Coaxial cable. Coaxial cable. So another common transmission medium is the coaxial cable. Okay, it is also known as, sometimes known as your coax and pronounced as a coax. Okay, simply around coaxial cable. Okay, so if you compare the coaxial cable, okay, what is the advantage of using coaxial cable as compared to your twisted pair? So in coaxial cable, it has better shielding than twisted pair. Simply write down, coaxial cable has better shielding. Okay, better shielding than twisted pair, so it can span longer distances at higher speed. So it can span longer distances. So it can span longer distances. So it can span longer distances at higher speed. So it can span longer distances at higher speed. So you must have seen this coaxial cable. Okay, so if you your dish antenna, okay, the wire is connected to your TV. This is one of your coaxial cable, and many of the internet service provider also or cable TV operators also use this coaxial cable. Okay, for your television connection purpose as well as your internet purpose. Okay, so this is a better shielding. Okay, so if you consider the construction of this coaxial cable, this is a, so you can draw the diagram in your copy. So this is a cutaway view of your coaxial cable. So if you compare the manufacture of this or what is the construction of this coaxial cable, so you can see, so this is your copper core. Okay, so the copper core, then it is covered with one insulating material. So you can draw the diagram in your copy. So this is your copper core. Then it is covered with your insulating material, covered with your some insulating material. Okay, then it is covered with your some conductor. Okay, in a mesh like structure. Okay, so braided outer conductor. Okay, see this insulating material. Okay, covered with some conductor, which is a mesh like structure. You can check from this diagram. Okay, and finally it is covered with a protective plastic covering. Okay, to avoid any type of a damage. Okay, or to uh, uh, strengthen your coaxial cable. Okay, so this is a protective plastic covering. Protective plastic covering. Okay, so if you consider the construction of your coaxial cable, so the innermost cable is your copper core. Okay, basically it is a copper wire. Okay, then it is covered with your insulating material. Okay, then in again is braided outer conductor, which is your mesh like structure, you can say. And the outermost covering is your protective plastic covering. Okay, so the outermost covering is your protective plastic covering. Okay, protective plastic covering. Okay, so this is the construction of your coaxial cable. So it basically consists of four parts. Number one is your copper core. Number two is your insulating material. Number three is your braided outer conductor. Okay, and the outer cover is your protective plastic covering. Okay, protective plastic covering. Okay, so this is the construction associated with your coaxial cable. Okay, so if you consider this coaxial cable, okay, so there are two types of your coaxial cable normally used. Simply write down. Number one is your 50 ohm cable, and number two is your 75 ohm cable. So write down, two kinds of coaxial cables are widely used. Number one is your 50 ohm cable, and number two is your 75 ohm cable. Okay, 50 ohm cable, and number two is your 75 ohm cable. Okay, and this 50 ohm cable is commonly used. This 50 ohm cable is commonly used when it is intended for your digital transmission from the start. Okay, for digital transmission from the start. Okay, digital transmission from the start. This 50 ohm cable normally used. Okay, 50 ohm cable normally used. And the number two is your 75 ohm cable, that is commonly used. Okay, that is commonly used for your analog transmission and cable television. Okay, so the 75 ohm cable normally used for your analog transmission and cable television, and it is also plays an important role. Okay, the 75 ohm cable also plays an important role. Okay, with the internet, so far as your internet or cable is concerned, okay, this 75 ohm cable also used. Okay, internet over cable. Okay, the other kind is your 75 cable, ohm cable, that is normally used for your analog transmission and cable television, also used for your internet over cable. Okay, so for your internet over cable. Okay, and this 50 ohm cable normally used for your digital transmission. Okay, digital transmission from the beginning. Okay, right. So simply remember there are two types of your coaxial cable. Number one is your 50 ohm cable normally used, that is 50 ohm cable. Number two is your 75 ohm cable. As we already discussed, so what is the